All right, so again, what we're going to look at is, I think it's not really out of the book. I can't remember what lesson we are. I think it's like 3-4. Oops. There were so many little pieces to 3-4. And this is writing an equation in slope-intercept form. From a graph. Now, you will also see in your book, and you may see on the test we take on this material, writing an equation in slope-intercept form given the slope and the y-intercept. Now, I don't think we really need to take notes on that because all you're doing is substituting the given pieces of information directly into the form, and then you're good. All right, so I'm just going to kind of parrot what she had. Number one, you need to recall the slope-intercept form. And what is the slope-intercept form? What does it look like? Y equals mx plus b. Y and x are variables. M and b are values. So we're going to go ahead and figure out those values. So the first value we're going to figure out is slope. And we talked about two methods. Okay? So method one would be to look at slope as rise over run. We have a graph, so it's going to be easy for us to just count rise over run. Okay? That's a possibility. But if you think about it, another way of saying rise over run is the difference in the y's, the change in the y over the change in the x. So that led to the formula where you take the coordinates of the two ordered pairs, you subtract the y's, and you subtract the x's. Okay. And then from there,
Y-intercept is 5.
Sorry, she wasn't supposed to talk. From the slope, then we have to find the y-intercept. Nope. I'm loud, but not that loud. So with the y-intercept, we look for where our line crosses the y-axis. Okay. So where our line crosses the y-axis, and I'm going to tell you right now in all the equations we're going to give you, there is a distinct integer point where the line crosses through, okay? And then next thing you're going to do is substitute the m and b values into y equals mx plus b. And that's it, and you're done. Okay? Let me just add one little thing back to y-intercept. Remember, he's the b value. So I'm going to switch over to graph paper. And I'm going to write our directions, which would be write an equation for the graph in slope-intercept form. So our graphs always have arrow caps at the axes ends. We have X labeled and Y labeled, and they're labeled on the right for the X, at the top for the Y's. We make tick marks at the lines of the graph paper. And then we write numbers for at least every other tick mark. If we do it for all of them, it gets a little muddled. So hopefully you can see those 2 points. And that's as far as my line looks. So all I need to do is identify 2 points. So point 1 is here, and I can write the coordinates. The x value is -2, and the y value is 2. And then we've got the other point is here, and the x value is 0, and the y value is 4. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate doing rise over run, but again, you can solve for the slope using the coordinates, the 2 points. Actually, I'm going to do it that way because I liked how she did it in the video, and I want to make sure that you guys have a record of that. So for our slope, our 2 points we're using is -2, 2, or are using, and 0, 4. I am going to do the same thing she did. I'm going to identify who's x1, who's y1, who's x2, who's y2. And then I'm going to use the formula where I'm going to subtract my y's, and I'm going to divide it by the difference in my x's. And again, remember that we need to have the coordinates from one ordered pair be one is the numerator and the partner denominator. So in our problem, I'm going to do it just like she did. I'm going to start with the y's. So y sub 2 is 4. And then the formula says to subtract from that the y sub 1, which was 2. And then we're going to divide that by the x sub 2 is 0 minus the x sub 1 is -2. So in the numerator, I have 4 take away 2 is 2. In the denominator, I have a double negative. So with a double negative, I can add the opposite, and I end up getting a +2. But I don't leave my slope like that, right? I need to simplify it. And what does 2 over 2 equal? 1. All right, so right now we've got half of what we need. Second thing we're going to do is identify our y-intercept. Where does our line cross the y-axis? Yeah, crosses it right here at 0, 4. Now I don't need to know the coordinates, I just need to know the y value. So the y value is simply 4. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my y value, my y-intercept, and my slope, the simplest form, and put them together. Y equals mx plus b. Now, my question is, would I leave the 1 there? No. Would you see it listed like that? And the answer is no, you wouldn't, because you can say 1 times x is x. So the equation for this graph would be y equals x plus 4.